Hey YouTube, Emu Reviews here, bringing back to you another One Piece chapter review. This week we'll be reviewing chapter 1031, which is titled Soldier of Science. So, this week's chapter starts off with just where we left off last chapter with Kid and Law versus Big Mom. And we see them they're lying on the floor, panting and gasping for breath, which is because their awakening abilities uses a lot of energy, as was mentioned last week. We have a scene there where Law asks Kid how long does his assigned magnetism last for, to which Kid replies, "Why the hell would I tell you that?" Which is not surprising, a surprising response from Kid, because although he and Law are working together to take down a Yonko, I doubt Kid could fully trust Law because of what happened with Apu and Hawkins, where they were teaming up to do the same thing to take down a Yonko, and here we are today. And we see all the fallout that happened from them forming an alliance with Apu and Hawkins. So I think for a while, Kid will have trust issues for a bit, even throughout this battle. But ultimately, I think he will end up opening up a bit and let his guard down around Law and even the Straw Hats. But then we see Big Mom emerges from the rubble of metal, and she is pissed. She literally doesn't even start with saying or addressing Kid and Law. She starts off with using her abilities. She sucks the life out of some of Kaido's fathers and creates new homies. And she even uses 1 year of her own lifespan on herself and even get bigger and stronger apparently. And so this is what it looks like when a Yonko gets serious. And you know she's serious because she says that she hasn't felt that much pain in decades. So this is just really a testament to how strong Kid and Law are, the attacks they used on her last week, while those awakening abilities, to be specific. And I feel like this chapter gives us a little insight on these worst generation pirates, their goals. Law says that he has to take her down, Big Mom, in order to uncover the true history. Whereas Kid says no matter what the cause is, he's going to take her down from her throne, implying that he wants her throne for himself. So we'll definitely have to wait for the official translation for confirmations. But I feel that the Saint sets the table or sets the precedence for Kid and Law's goal in defeating the Yonko. So, which really allows us to say that, Kid and Law's, their goal may not, what's the word? Their goal may not go against the other person's goal or even Luffy. So, that's pretty nice. But we move on to another scene where we have Scratchman Apu and Drake. It seems that their negotiations from last week's chapter didn't go so well, and Apu is attacking Drake, who seems to know just how Apu's attacks work. So he says that his attacks aren't just random, but follow his line of sight. So he's able to dodge his attacks. And it's very interesting that we earlier learned that Apu's attacks, if you block your airs, you could negate the effects of his attacks. But Drake here is also saying that, his attack also works with his line of sight. So before he directs his attack somewhere, I guess it's where he looks. So, and moving forward, we see Yamato ends up breaking into the room where they are fighting, and Apu now uses this as an opportunity to get Yamato on his side, knowing that she's against Kaido. So he tells her that he had cut ties with Kaido. So then she proceeded to attack Drake, who also tells her that he has cut ties with Kaido, and then Yamato just darts away. And we see and one of the numbers start to chase Yamato, and so Apu starts to follow Yamato as well because he wants her on his side as well. and then Drake proceeds to chase Apu as well. So we'll see where that storyline takes us as well. And the next scene of the chapter is where things start to get a little crazy, because we have Robin and Brooke who are being pursued by CP0 agents. And Robin even says that even among the elite of the CP0 agents, the mask agents are in a class of their own. So now we see that things are shifting to some bit of higher stakes, at least for Robin in this particular instance, as DCP0 members are definitely there to capture her. So I wonder how they're going to get out of there. I doubt Brooke will be enough to protect her. I know Frankie, Jinbei, Usopp, and Nami are free, so we'll see if something comes out of that. From what I remember, I don't think Jinbei is really that injured or hurt. Maybe Frankie is a bit spent, but I think there are enough Straw Hats to help Robin and Brooke out of the situation, but we'll see how things unfold. And moving on to the final scene of the chapter is, of course, Sanji versus Queen, as the chapter is entitled Warrior of Science, or Soldier of Science, rather. But the scene starts off at the pleasure hall where we see there's an injured geisha, and it is implied that Sanji had attacked this geisha. We even see a brief flashback where Sanji, when he runs into her as she's kneeling on the floor, and from the looks of it, his Germa genes must have gotten the better of him, and he ended up hurting her. And that's what's being heavily implied here in the scene. But I will say, though, that I won't believe it until I see it, I guess. It could have been something where he just blacked out and maybe some rubbles or something dropped on her and he assumes that it was him who did it. But his memory still technically went blank. We don't really see where he hits her, but it is really heavily implied that Sanji is the one who hits this girl. So now this has him really thinking about the powers that he is getting from using the raid suit. So Sanji then goes on to think to himself, which version of himself would Luffy prefer? Would it be the cold-hearted Germa cyborg, or the warm-hearted Sanji that's useless against women? And he even says something interesting. He says that going with the cold-hearted Germa, he says that even a beast like Queen would be easy to dismember. And I'll repeat that. He said would be easy to dismember or to defeat with his Germa powers. So he seems quite confident in his strength, or the strength that he gets from using the raid suit. And what's so interesting about this is that he's talking about a second Yonko commander, and he says that it would be easy for him to dismember Queen. Easy. I just find that so interesting that he would find it easy to defeat Queen using his Germa powers, and Queen is the second Yonko commander. So that's not even saying Sanji would be spent after a fight with Queen. So this scene just have me thinking that power scalers are gonna have a field day with just this one line. But Sanji proceeds to then destroy the raid suit, and he says that he'll end the fight in his own way. But before continuing, we see an interesting call between Sanji and Zuro. Sanji had a hidden transponder snail inside of Zoro's clothes, and in case he got lost, of course. So Sanji calls Zoro and makes a request that after the fighting is over, and if he is not himself, Zoro should put him down. To which Zoro says, if it comes to it, he'll make it swift. But before that, Zoro tells Sanji that he should not die before then. And that line is just really a testament to the friendship that exists between the two. Although they're rivals, although they're always at each other's throats, Sanji understands that he would never or should never put that burden on Luffy to take him down, or any other of the crew members. but Zoro is the one crew member who would take him out if it means protecting everyone else. But Zoro, on the other hand, urges Sanji not to die, because at the end of the day, he doesn't know what's going on in this battle, and this battle is life or death. So he is telling Sanji not to die. Until then, is him basically showing him that he cares about him, although he would be tasked with taking Sanji out if Sanji loses control. He still wants him to not die or to be safe until then, which makes the dynamic of their relationship so beautiful, because you'd think that with all of the bickering that goes on between the two, there would be, you know, bad blood, or they'd be at each other's neck at a point like this, but they seem to fully understand each other and what's important right now. So the chapter then ends with Sanji vanishing and Queen questioning whether he uses the Germa technology to vanish, which enrages Sanji even more. And he uses an attack called Hell Memories, and he sends Queen flying. So definitely next chapter is going to be spicy if we continue on with Sanji versus Queen, which I feel should be coming to a climax soon, since he destroyed the raid suit, and he's saying he's going to end the battle. And let me know what you think about Sanji saying he could easily defeat Queen using the Germa powers. There's a lot to discuss in this chapter, but definitely we will wait for the official translation on Sunday, and then we will go even more in depth in the chapter discussion. But guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you want to continue to enjoy content like this from my channel, please feel free to drop me a like, smash that subscribe button, and let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. And I hope that every one of you guys have an amazing day. Imu-sama, out.